Hey, I'm Eric O'Keefe, and this is Fitness Business Interviews, and today I'm here with another amazing woman, and that is Holly Rigsby. Now, Holly's built a business and quite a name for herself by becoming the go-to pro for moms and helping them get back into shape after they've had the babies. Now, she's here today to share her story about how she built her business and how she's built basically a tribe, a big cult-like following of raving fans, and she's going to share with us exactly how she did it. So, Holly, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm excited to share my story.
All right, so basic background information. How'd you get into the industry? How'd you get started?
Yes. I know it's hard for a lot of people to believe, but fitness was not always part of who I am. I think now having to sit and think about how many years ago this happened, probably in the last 6 or 7 years is when things really started to make sense and click for me. And it actually came from personal experience because after having my son Tyler, who's going to be 10 this year, so about 10 years ago, I had gained more weight than I had wanted to while pregnant, gained in excess of 50 pounds, and was clueless as to how to get rid of that baby weight after the fact. Went through quite a journey. And looking back, it was like a 2-year journey of just trying different things or just settling and saying this is just how it's going to be. Throughout that process, my life took a dramatic turn as I went through a divorce and became a single mom. So I had to go back into the dating scene, and it was terrifying for me because I sure didn't feel good about myself or my body. So I started looking deeper into what I could do to change that. And in the process, joined a gym, made all the same mistakes that I see women making today. Actually, as I was going through that process, I met my husband, now my husband, today, and we hit it off pretty quickly. And because he was in the fitness industry, he actually was one of the owners of the personal training company. And he tried to point out that, Holly, that's not how you go about losing the baby fat and getting your body back, that kind of thing. And I was like, what do you know? You're a man. This is a woman's body.
Right.
I think I can figure this out on my own. So I decided to try it on my own for a while, ended up spinning my wheels. Sure, I felt better because I was exercising, but my body wasn't changing the shape the way I would like it to. So I started saying, maybe Patrick knows something about this since, he is a business owner. And yeah, I can't do that right now. And the reality of a busy mom. That's my babysitter. So I started looking deeper into this thing called strength training and started looking at all the different types of programs that are out there, and there's so much to dive into. And I started just experimenting, and in the process of, kind of realizing and highlighting the mistakes that I was making and making those adjustments going along, my body started to change its shape. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. People are noticing definition in my arms, and I was loving that I could change the way my body looked and felt just through strength training. So throughout this journey too, I realized, hey, this is really cool. I want to be able to share this information with other moms and save them the frustration and all of the wasted time that I was doing in the beginning. So I pursued my certification as a personal trainer because Patrick was in the business. I was able to kind of jump right into the personal training field and started building up a big base of clients, which mainly were made up of moms. Because when they joined the gym, they got that complimentary session with a trainer. And when the new members joined, if they were moms and they, were looking around at who the personal trainer options were, they're all like, well, who's that? And she's a mom and she looks like that. So they all wanted to book their first session with me. And then all of a sudden I had all these clients. So it felt really great to be able to spread the word and share this information with women, especially busy moms. And then we were like, okay, I'm kind of reaching my ceiling here. I can only take on so many clients a day. And I even tried boot camps and group weight management, but I was still at the gym from like 7 in the morning till 7 or 8 at night. My son Tyler, the school bus was picking him up for school in the morning at the gym, then dropping him off at the gym. There was a beanbag back in the personal training office with a box of toys where he would have to sit and play and wait for Mom and Patrick to be done with work before we went back home. So this was right about the time when Patrick was looking at how to expand their side of the business by looking at online options, and they came across Ryan Lee Boot Camp and thought, hey, you know what, Holly has to offer something. Maybe she can reach, more women online and be able to better manage and leverage her time. So we started looking into that as well, and that's kind of where we had that turning point of, let's take what you have and package it up and put it out there and see what we can do with that. And in the beginning, it was, what do women want? Well, all women want to look great. So I was like, I wanted to be the women's fitness, fat loss person, reach all women everywhere. And as we went through these boot camps and started doing our research, we realized that that's not how you reach women, because if your niche is too wide,
right,
you're going to be missing out on all the women who are actually searching for you. So I was like, let's see if we can cater this more to, a group of women that we can be specific with. So we're like, well, what do women want? They want to look good in a bikini. So I was like, well, I could create this whole bikini body ready series.
Mm-hmm.
And, we could target each of the body parts and it'd be really cool. Then we realized, no, that's not specific enough either. And we talked to another business partner, and he was like, what about this concept of yummy mommy? Holly could be the fit yummy mommy. Then she could reach a more specific audience. And then at that point it clicked. It was like, well, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. There I am again, using my personal experience to be able to reach out and be able to help a specific group of women reach their fat loss goals. And that is how Fit Yummy Mommy was born. And that was it started the creation of that back in the spring of 2007, and we launched in the fall of 2007. And that's going on, what is that, 4 years ago?
Yeah, coming up on 4 years, yeah.
4 years ago. So, long story long. That's the path that was traveled to get to where I am today. And that,
okay,
all in told, was about a 6-year process.
Okay, now I'm curious, I'm going to just kind of dissect that story a little bit.
Yes.
When you were back there and you were training, you weren't sure exactly, or you were working out, just kind of spinning your wheels, and you had met your husband, Pat. Was he the one that kind of put into your mind, hey, maybe you should start doing the training, or were you just like, you know what, I really love this so much that I really need to share this, I'm going to become a personal trainer?
I really think it had more to do with an aha moment in myself.
Okay.
All the resources and the tools were right there before me. It was a matter of me picking up and making that connection to it. So when it clicked for me, it wasn't anybody else saying, Holly, you need to do this. It was more of that passion and that calling of, hey, I have to be able to tell others about this. Because of course it starts with that small group of friends and family that you're like, right, you guys, you got to try this. Just give it a few weeks. Try this formula. This is a different way than you're used to working out. I know this works because it worked for me. Give it a chance. Give it a try.
Okay, and you knew once you had the certification that you were going to end up working at that gym. Were you together with Pat at that time?
Yes, we were dating at that time. So, and our personal training company was hosted within a larger gym. Okay. So I was able to work with a larger group of clientele. So, and that's when it just kind of exploded, and I was overbooked, which is great.
Now, how long were you there for? Like, did you end up doing the personal training in the gym?
I think that was about 2 good years, and by the 3rd year, Fit Yummy Mommy had taken off online so well, I had begun to back off on spending so much time in the gym, and then we ended up moving. So I couldn't stay there and train anymore.
Now, before you were training and you were at the gym, you had just had, you'd gone through some life changes, a divorce, you had Tyler. Was there, what were you doing before that to bring in some income and money?
I was a nanny. Okay. And that was something that had started off when Tyler was born, I was living in Boston at the time. And Tyler was about 3 months old when I looked into the prospect of being a nanny, because I could still be with him, right, and be able to make some money. So that carried over, because we moved from Boston to Lexington to Louisville, and that was one career that I could continue to fall back on. Okay. That allowed me some stability. Okay,
and then you started doing this, you noticed the big changes in yourself, and that's how you decided to get into everything else.
Yes, yes.
Okay, now I'm curious, now I'm going to jump ahead just real quick for this question. Walk me through, because you're so busy, walk me through what a typical day is like for you.
Oh my God. And that continually changes, because I do have a 9-month-old baby. So prior to the birth of my baby, I did have a pretty good set routine. Tyler's Tyler's 9, so he's a big help with allowing, the household to run smoothly. But the minute that baby was born, whoa, everything just kind of turned upside down, and it's relearning, and it's a continuing learning process as well. Because if you have a baby, you know this. It all depends on the mood of the baby and what's happening. Right. And when you are a work-at-home mom, it really does cause you to have to really stay tight to those deadlines and those boundaries that you create for yourself. And that, I still admit, is a work in progress for me. A typical day is waking up, making sure baby's taken care of, making sure that this is just something recently I've been trying to schedule back in, is some time for me, to allow myself to wake up, get outside, do some sun salutations, or even get a workout in first thing in the morning, and then turn on my computer and get online and start going through answering emails. What blog posts do I have to write out that day? Planning out the workouts that need to be filmed and recorded or edited, whatever projects are on task for this upcoming week, this upcoming month. And it's just a matter of going through step by step this checklist of things that need to be taken care of on a daily basis. And there are times when I find myself sitting at my computer all day. So it's a matter of being conscious of, it's been an hour and I haven't gotten up, so I got to make sure that I give myself a break, that the kids are being taken care of, that the house is being taken care of. So it is a juggling act, but it's something that's manageable when you plan ahead for it and you are aware of the fact and okay with the fact that not everything that you have on your to-do list is going to get done, that there's going to be some carryover. But as long as you stick to the high priority tasks that you can get done that day, you can check that day off as, hey, this is successful because I did 1, 2, or 3. I don't have to do all 10 or 20.
Right. Now, is the to-do list one of the biggest things that's helping you to manage your time? Yes.
And can I just twist my laptop around just to show you? And I didn't plan for this, just so you know. Absolutely. I picked this one because it has the best lighting.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I have, right there, I have a dry erase board. This is my portable dry erase board, which right there I just kind of made a list of things that I had to get ready for the summit, which I know we'll talk about later. Attached to the wall over here is my DVD countdown. I have a whole host of DVDs that still need to be filmed, and it's nice to see it all in the big picture. Okay. And it's also nice to check them off to know, hey, I'm making progress to getting all those done. And then my working dry erase board over here is, as you can see, that says July. It's August now, so I'm behind in checking that or getting that caught up. But I have my most, it's my month at a glance, and then my most high priority to-dos are going to be written at the top of that dry erase board. So it's something that, this is a system, like I said, is a work in progress, but it's something that I need to have it out in front of me. Otherwise, it gets lost, I forget. Shh. And things don't get done. In addition to having all this stuff out here, I have accountability systems set up, as in I have someone that checks in with me once a week to see where my progress is with these tasks and do I need help. We've delegated that because it doesn't work when Patrick asks me about that. I need somebody else other than my spouse to ask me, so it's more neutral. But I would say all of these bundled up together is what allows me to, I don't want to use the word stay organized, but to be able to stay on top of it without feeling like I'm drowning and not making any progress at all.
Okay, so, and just a little bit more into that accountability system, because I know that's huge. A lot of people need that accountability to keep things moving within their daily lives and their business. What is the role of that person? Like, what do they do to make sure that you're accountable to check in and that you're taking the right steps to move forward?
Well, they are informed of everything that I just kind of showed you here. So we have like the big picture with projects that need to be completed. And then it's a matter of those weekly check-ins are, okay, what do you have planned to complete this week? And then when we follow up, we'll stay in touch daily through email. But when we follow up on those live phone calls, it's a matter of chatting out what worked. Did you get this done? If not, why not? What could have been done instead? So there's a reflective process that takes place as well. And then there is the delegation within those talks of, okay, if this, and this needs to get done, what have you gotten done and what needs to get done by somebody else so that way you can focus on what you're really good at. So I think that's been the biggest help, because in the past, or well, really to this day, I tend to want to do everything myself. And that's just not possible. So it's a matter of being able to have somebody else say, you know what, it looks like you're really good at getting this part done, so let me go ahead and either help you with this part or help you delegate it to somebody else who can help you get this done, to help free up your time. So I would say that's a big part of that accountability system, because once again, it's something that's staying in front of me at all times, but it's also somebody who's helping me to manage my time to the best of its ability.
Sure.
Me not feeling helpless, like the panic of I can't do all this by myself.
When did it reach that point? Like, excuse me, when you realized, you know, I need some help?
I would say, well, what we did was plan for this to be in place while I was pregnant.
Okay.
Because even though I'm at home, trying to juggle a new baby and do all of this would have been ridiculous to try to set it up after he arrived. So it was something that we put in place while I was expecting. Because even though in my mind I'm like, well, I can do this. I mean, he's a baby. I'll just feed him, put him down for a nap, and then I can work.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
You slept for 15 minutes. What do you mean 15? I didn't get everything done yet. And then it has to be paused. So that's another thing about multitasking, is that's an idea that so many busy moms feel that they need, that's the lifestyle they need to live in order to get everything done. But what I have, having a baby in the past 9 months, what the biggest lesson I've learned is that multitasking does not work. If I'm only giving 10% of my attention to 20 different projects, guess what? By the end of the day, nothing gets done.
Right.
I feel exhausted. My eyes hurt. My brain hurts. My body's tired. And I can't, nothing can get done that way. So, and that's another part where the accountability system comes into play too. So it's a matter of saying, well, let's just focus on what you can get done in this block of time without being distracted by everything else that needs to get done. So it has to be a refined focus, one project at a time. You'll be amazed at how much more you can get done and feel so much better because of it.
Now, how do you get back into the groove? I mean, you have so much going on. You have the baby, you have Tyler and everything. There's a lot of distractions. You know, obviously that takes away from concentration when you're working on a project. So is there anything that you do, like, to get back into the groove of things because of all the interruptions?
I would say that there are so many times when I've created such momentum that because we're working on and completing one project after another and it's overlapping,
right,
that you just kind of get caught up in that momentum, and that when that crossover happens, you're like, wow, that's awesome. What else can I do?
Yeah.
So you get caught up in that feeling. So I would say that after a string of wonderful events taking place, it is a matter of turning everything off. And this was something that was kind of forced in the past few weeks because my laptop got a virus and I was without my laptop for 3 weeks. Well, almost 3 weeks.
Okay.
So that was a forced break, and it came after the string of one wonderful event getting done after another. And I wanted to keep going, but I was forced to actually not have a laptop to be online and continue. Mm-hmm. So instead I had a journal where I had to actually write things. And I was like, wow, this is a great process. Mm-hmm. So that's something I'm adding into my ability to kind of recharge and get refocused, right, is not being so online connected, but taking that break to go offline to be able to allow my creative abilities to have another way to be outsourced and be reflected upon. Other than that, I don't ever feel like I hit a wall or I hit bottom, because I just feel like we're always riding that wave of doing so well.
Right.
Probably in the past, there were opportunities where I had to kind of escape, leave the house. I don't feel that anymore.
Well, that's a sign that you love what you do, so that's very important.
We're good.
Yeah. All right, so I want to dive into the other thing that's very important, and you know, I've been following you for years now, and you have a great ability to create a tribe with your fans, your clients. You just have like raving fans. So I'm going to dive into that. I mean, basically, what were you doing early on to just create that atmosphere?
Yeah, that's one of my areas of expertise, as it's been coined, is relationship building. It first of all, it comes naturally to me because I actually care about my clients and their lives and their ability to get results. And that stemmed back to when I had one-on-one clients. So it was really hard for me to chisel my blocks of time down to just 30 minutes because I wanted to also be able to socialize and offer extra support with my clients. But you know, when you're in a gym and you're back-to-back clients, it's just not possible. So I found myself at that point, you're going to have to be quiet, that's way too loud. Sorry.
Okay.
I found myself at that point offering my support through email or through blog posts. So really early on, before Fit Yummy Mummy was ever created, I was still trying to find an extended support system for my clients.
Right.
Then when things turned online, it was a matter of me being there for them to answer their questions. And to the point where not where you're on call 24/7, but to the point where you anticipate what types of questions and what kinds of concerns that they have, and either creating resources for them to help, provide that ahead of time, or at the time that people are requesting some type of extra support, creating that resource for them, like coaching calls or video chats. In addition, what I was doing was also sharing the fact that I go through these things too, and this is what I do to troubleshoot, and this is what I felt, and these are the solutions that I found worked for me. So by allowing them to see that, oh my God, Holly's human, that really helped to develop that relationship. So it helped to break down any type of barriers that were there of, oh, this is just, follow just some program that some, fit person made for me, but using that connection, that I'm right there with you, that I have my ups and downs. Those were two really big keys for me in the beginning of being able to offer this, or be able to cultivate that tribe-like feeling that these women had something in common. And then from there, we had, because when Fit Yummy Mummy was originally launched, I had offered like a 21-day VIP coaching program, and we ended up opening a Google Groups for them to be able to come and ask questions, because I had all these 50, 75 women sending me emails asking me questions about the ebook, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Right.
So Google Groups helped me organize that and gave them a place to come and ask me questions, as well as be able to chat with each other. That was a huge hit and one of the best things that we could have ever done, because then it allowed us to develop this whole idea of creating an online support community. So we experimented with a free online community, ning.com. And that was great and wonderful, but I had quickly built up a membership of it was well over 3,000 women. And what was happening was the support I was able to offer was getting watered down because it was free, so you didn't have to invest in Fit Yummy Mummy. There were just random people coming in there. So the people who had invested weren't getting the right type of support, and we're like, that's not working. So that's when we decided to move over to a paid membership platform, and MemberGate allowed us to create Club FYM to the point where it is today, that it's just, that's like the heart and soul of Fit Yummy Mummy at this point, because this is where women come from all over the world to share in their body shaping transformation of getting their body back, and knowing that they're not alone, and that each woman's experience, yes, is unique, but they've got the support and the encouragement from each other, and it's a non-judgmental encouragement, because we know that when women are trying to reach their fat loss goals, they are met with resistance from their own home, from their friends, from their family, and that can be discouraging and cause them to say it's not worth it. But for them to have this outlet, to know that there is a place where it's safe and supported, that's what's allowing this Fit Yummy Mummy to be what it is today, because they have this added support. And that really, that's the heart and soul of the tribe of Fit Yummy Mummy.
And one of the things you'd mentioned earlier was that you had basically shared with them kind of what you were going through, so these people saw that you weren't just some fitness expert throwing something out there, that you could relate to them. Now, I mean, that shows that you're being very transparent. That definitely helps build a connection. Now, early on when you first started, I mean, obviously part of this transparency is you needed to kind of prove to them, hey, this is me, here's what I look like. You were doing shots in your bathing suit, pictures, things like that. Were you comfortable at the beginning doing that type of stuff?
Yeah, because at that point, because I don't have anything to hide, and this is the reality of what it is. So, and I don't want them to feel like, oh my gosh, I got to be ashamed or embarrassed. No, this is what my body looks like right now, and it's an opportunity for me to, number one, have an excellent source to measure my progress, and number two, know that I'm saying goodbye to this. Right. It's not really what I want right now, but this isn't permanent, and that in itself is exhilarating because they know change is coming. It's happening that day that you take that picture.
Right. Now, how are you getting your fans or your tribe to get them to rave about what you're doing?
This is the thing, I don't really have, in the beginning I had like this whole testimonial and success story system and was trying to follow up with everybody and get them to share their stories. And at this point, it just happens. Right. These women, they get results, 1 week in, 2 weeks in, 12 weeks in, 2 years in, and they just, the changes that they have experienced, and it goes much deeper than what their body looks like because their entire life is changing. They want to shout it out to the world. And that's what I hear over and over again, that they want to shout it from the rooftops, that other women need to know this is what is possible. This is what can be done to change your body and change your life. So yes, I feature Fit Yummy Mummies. I have a hard copy newsletter that goes out to my Premier members, but I also do it on the blog, and I'm out of my routine, but I tend to do it every Monday, so once a week. Yeah. So these are women that are more than happy to share their stories, but when the stories are shared, it inspires others to see what's possible, and then they look forward to being able to share and inspire others. One of the cool things that allows so many success stories to come forward at such a rapid rate are that I hold transformation challenges. Even though I've got all these great fat loss programs out there, a variety of different Fit Yummy Mummy resources, these women still want a start and a stop. They want the deadlines to know that, hey, we're all going to be doing this together. So I hold anywhere from 6 to 12 week transformation challenges, and that motivates them to give their all. And this all takes place in Club FYM too. And the cool thing is, about 2 years ago, prior to that, because I think Club FYM is getting ready to celebrate 3 years in existence, right? 3 or 4. Oh my gosh, I'm losing track of time. But initially it was because, you model what other fitness professionals online are doing with their transformation challenges. Like Craig Ballantyne makes a big deal about all this money you can win if you transform your body. And at first I was like, oh, I got to have prizes and money and all this stuff. And it was probably about 2 years ago, I had posted the transformation challenge, the details, the rules, and how to get registered. I never posted the prizes, a fault, something I overlooked. But yet all of these women were so excited to jump in and join the challenge. They didn't care that there was no prize. They knew that the prize really was what they personally were going to get out of it by the end of the 6 or 12 weeks, that they were going to have a new body. They were going to guarantee the results. So the prizes are just kind of the icing on the cake. They are not what drives women to join challenges. They join in order to have that support of the community, the fun little bonuses that we have during the challenge. Like I give them video tips, we hold coaching calls, and then of course the results that they get at the end.
Right. So it's definitely, it's obvious to me that you have a very eager market that's just like screaming for this type of stuff. Let's say someone's kind of in a market, testing waters, a woman's trying to get started, but it's maybe not as much of an eager market. Is there a few things that you say they could do to maybe try and help build that trust and build that relationship so they can have a bigger tribe?
Yes. Number one, I would say that you really have to narrow your niche down. And I've had a lot of female fit pros come up and ask me, how do you do that? Because they're so concerned about speaking to everyone. Right. And yet we get the concept of that niche. But my trick is you pick one client, and whatever topic you're going to cover, whether it's, making time to eat breakfast or how to do lunges, speak only to that client. Get in that client's head. What's that client going to be thinking, feeling, saying, dreaming about? And when you speak only to that one person, what you begin to create all of a sudden is connecting to so many other women. So it's not just some uh, general overview of a fat loss topic. I mean, anybody can find that by doing a Google search. But when you really dive down into the heart and you speak directly to one woman at a time, that's when you create the biggest impact. That, in addition to you sharing bits and pieces of your own personal journey with whatever subject or topic you want to cover. And don't be afraid to hide the ugly stuff. That's when they bond with you most. They don't always want to hear that it's all happy and cheery all the time. That angers people.
Right.
Share the dark side of it. Just share how you got out. They want the solution.
Did you know that early on? Were you just, when you first started, were you like, I'm sharing pretty much all the ugly stuff, or were you a little hesitant at first?
Oh no, I think it just kind of came naturally that this is just what you got to do.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying don't be afraid to share the things that you're afraid to talk about that's going to help people relate to you.
Yes, yes. The deeper that you go into it, I mean, it's just like when we teach about goal setting, we're always like dig in there and get emotional. That's the same thing with teaching any other concept that you have about your fat loss program or the fitness aspect that you have to teach. You got to dig in there and get deep with it.
Okay, now I want to dive a little bit more. I mean, we're talking about it generally in the outskirts. Fit Yummy Mummy, that's your program. I mean, that's everything for you. You say Club FYM is the center for it. But what I want to know is, like, how did you end up coming up with the name for it? Like, it created it, but where did the name come from? It's very unique.
Well, and that's when we were trying to do that bikini ready body part series. And that's when we talked with another business partner, and he was like, well, I was reading, I don't know if it was like a Dan Kennedy newsletter, and the term Yummy Mummy was in there. So it was based on another fitness professional who we brought in as a partner initially, his idea, but he couldn't do anything with it because he was a man. So it was like the moment he found that, we contacted him. So it was like we were meant to talk about it together at the same time because it just melded together and it just took off.
Okay, and what was the initial program? Was it a carryover from what you were training, like you were doing when you were in the gym?
Yeah, that's basically just what I was teaching women because it's about short burst strength training. I mentioned earlier, I only had 30 minutes with my clients. Yeah. And within that 30 minutes, I have to reassess, we got to go over your goals, you have any questions, and teach them a workout and take them through a workout. Mm-hmm. So by nature, I had to teach 15-minute workouts because then they had to go and do this on their own. So in essence, it kind of built into the fact that we got to be quick and intense, and this is what works, and that's what helped them to get the best results. So it was a combination of that, and then because I was teaching group weight management classes, they were lifestyle strategies. So because it was originally, we had brought in Apex Nutrition, and it was a great blueprint of what to teach, but I felt like it was not diving down deep enough into how to truly help people change their lifestyle so that they can have lasting results. So I kind of made my own group weight management program. So I began rewriting that whole program. So that's what is found in the original Fit Yummy Mummy ebook. 28 weeks worth of workouts based on what I taught in the gym and what got women results, as well as the lifestyle strategies that we spent over the 12-week group weight management program.
So you were doing these both at the same time? You were still training at the gym while you were working on the product or had the product out there?
Yes. Yeah, that was simultaneous. That's why we thought, oh yeah, we'll get this launched back to school season. And it just didn't happen. We just ran out of time because can't do everything at once. So that's why it was like, I think November 6th, it was my dad's birthday is when it was launched.
Okay, now, were you offering that to your physical clients at the gym, or was this just strictly online, trying to build the online following?
Oh no, I did offer it to them as well, and I actually had a couple of women who I was close with that I kind of piloted the actual program with them so that they could be my original testimonials of, hey, I am Fit Yummy Mummy. And actually, Tina Martin is the very first Fit Yummy Mummy, and she lives here in Louisville with me, even though she's moved all around the States. And it's really cool that we're still connected, and she's in the forums, and people can talk to her and say, you were the first one to go through this, and look at where you are today because of it. So that shows the lasting power of what this program has to offer. Yes.
And now you've got, you have Fit Yummy Mummy, you have the membership site, you've got a bunch of other products too, so you're making a ton of products. How do you decide what products need to be released for your clients?
It comes from partly the help of my husband, who that's his area of expertise.
Okay.
And he's actually been very good about the fact that we got to stay on a schedule and we have to be releasing new products because that's how a business grows. So then it's my part, it's on my shoulders to figure out what do my clients want and need. Because of course it's one thing to tell them you need this, do this, but it's going to be much more successful if you create something that they want. So you got to find the nice balance of the meld of both of those. And because I have the online community, I see I see the same frequently asked questions. I see the same common concerns, the obstacles that they face. So I'm either asking them directly of, hey, do you think something like this would help you be able to overcome that? Doing surveys, getting their direct feedback. And my most recent product that I released was intervalsformoms.com. And that was my Fit Yummy Mummy interval training system. And I asked them, I said, you know what, I can make this like a 3 DVD set. What are you willing to invest in? So they were like, well, I'd rather make it more affordable and just get 1 DVD and make the rest downloadable. They told me specifically what they would be willing to purchase. So they kind of helped with the creation of that. So it's nice to be able to have that direct feedback, and then at the same time they're like, thank you, Holly, for listening to us and giving us exactly what we need to get results. Instead of just pouring out these products that they're like, okay, you want me to buy this, why? They are directly involved and at the heart of helping me to create these products.
And that's so key, because that's a big lesson. I still have issues with that too, so it's very good that you're listening to your clients and creating what they want. Now, you just released this Intervals for Moms product. Walk me through just the way that the product creation works. Like, you obviously figured out what they needed based on talking to them and surveying them. Walk me through a little bit of the rest of the process.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, there's so many. I've got to pull up my completion plans. Well, first of all, after you have the okay of this is what they want, then it's a matter of filling in and creating that content. And when it comes to interval training, making sure that I am offering them exercises that are not what they already have access to in the forums. It's not just a repetition of what they already know. So making sure that it's new material that's going to help them be successful. Then it's a matter of setting up my videographer to come over and film all of those. Which we had to spread out because intervals are not my forte, and I need a break in between each workout. So planning for getting out that calendar and saying, what realistically can we film within this block of time in order to know when we could release this. So the filming that takes place, the editing that goes into the videos, I prefer to do voiceovers because no way in heck am I wearing a mic and talking through the workouts, because all you would hear me do is and then writing the downloadable resources that go with that, taking the photos that go with that. So it's not just, hey, I have this physical DVD. I also have an online handbook that's going to answer all of my questions and give me everything step by step in that blueprint. Another thing we did with the intervals was we partnered with Workout Muse, so we had to create custom soundtracks. So I had to do voiceovers with my voice. I worked with Topher to create those soundtracks. So I had to write out exactly what these timed intervals were and where my voice would go and what it would mean. And that's just all the product creation, not counting we got to get the website. What website domain do you need? The copy for the website, the follow-up emails. Now let's create the promo emails. So that way we know if they're going to be a pre-launch. Are we just going launch from day one? What are you doing to help get everybody excited? So it's this, and that's why I'm trying to do this off of memory. That's why it's good to have completion plans where you take a step back and you just start brainstorming everything that needs to get done. And even to this day, when I go to do this, I have to send it to Patrick or my accountability buddy and say, will you look this over? What have I missed? And somebody is always able to say, you forgot this, this, and this. So then we work it in, we look at our time frame, and we're able to say, let's set this goal, this date to launch this product.
Okay, and what type of marketing are you doing once you have everything complete to get it out there and spread the word?
We used to rely very heavily on affiliate marketing initially, but at this point, affiliate marketing is nice, but that's not the main focus of what we're doing. Our main focus is now on the list of people that I do have that follow me.
Right.
So it's a matter of creating blog posts to speak to my general audience, getting in the forums and speaking directly to them, getting on Facebook, posting video clips, YouTube clips, anything that's going to help either answer, going backwards, prior to a launch, thinking of what their biggest questions are about intervals or their biggest problems are with intervals, answering those for them, or leading up to, I have the answer for you, watch next week. So kind of looking at it in different tiers is because you have so many different people that are following and watching you. You have a general audience, but then you get more specific with the people that what we talk about is my tribe. So being able to talk in a couple different voices in order to get the word out. And then I even ask my Club FYM members, I'm like, hey, now that we've got this out there, who do you know that would help, that you think would help them reach their goals? So telling them to tell their friends, because maybe they don't follow me on Facebook or YouTube, or they're not on my newsletter list, they're not in Club FYM.
Right.
Reach out and tell them about this. So kind of the affiliate part of it is asking my clients to help spread the word.
Okay. How long did it take you, I guess, start to finish to complete that whole thing until you launched it?
Where's the calendar? I think...
Just generally.
Because I took a little bit longer to film the intervals, I think our goal was to launch much sooner than we did because I took extra time to get them filmed.
Yeah.
I would say we started filming in March or April, because then it's also another reason why, because I had to get the voiceovers and the scripts to Topher at Workout Muse, so they had plenty of time to create the soundtracks.
Right. Okay. That's what I figured, because you said, you're doing the interviews, the intervals, you're tired, you need some time to rest, to write the scripts. Okay, so I figured it was going to take, a couple months at least to try and put something like this together. And then the price you determined based on what your members were telling you what they thought would be a good price?
Oh, yes. And they were extremely excited because I offer like an early bird special, so it's even more discounted than what they expected.
Right.
So that's the over delivery. It's the wow factor. And it was surprisingly a super successful launch because it was at a price point that fit everybody's budget. I think it was $37 and $47 for the early bird special, and that the $37 was everything was online, versus the $47 was you get the DVD plus $10 for shipping and handling.
Right.
And then after the sale, I think both of those went up $10 or $20.
Okay.
But that was the price point that was most successful for us, and it was all created based on their feedback.
Okay. Now there's another area I wanted to dive into. You just recently had your first summit where you held an event, you brought in some awesome Fit Yummy Mummies to check everything out. How'd that go for you?
Oh my gosh, it was so super successful. More than I could have ever imagined. Because I've done local meetups where the very first meetup, it was actually about 3 years ago. I had to go to Toronto for a business meeting, and one of my Fit Yummy Mummies was like, well, I live in Toronto. And all of a sudden, there were all these Canadian Fit Yummy Mummies who were like, I'll drive in and meet with you. Let's have dinner. So that was like the spark of, hey, it's really cool to meet up. And I've had, shopping trips or going out to lunch a couple times with just a small group of Fit Yummy Mummies. So we decided to take it to the next level this year and actually spend a weekend together where it's not just shopping and eating lunch. This was us going through workouts, troubleshooting, where do you need the most help? And we included, the Fit Yummy Mummy strength training workouts, the interval training workouts. We did band workouts, kettlebell workshop, a foam rolling workshop for recovery. One of my Fit Yummy Mummies is a yoga instructor, so she took the Fit Yummy Mummies through a yoga session, all based on alignment. Then I had Dr. Kara Moore, who's here local in Louisville, come in and talk about nutritional lifestyle strategies focused mainly on busy moms, because she too is a busy mom. It was an amazing amount of content. And at first I was like, wow, I have 2 days. You've got to fill this up with something interesting. And by the time I had mapped it all out, I was like, 2 days is not enough to be able to do all this. And we even had spillover time during each session that we had gone through during the actual live summit. But they all sat there or stood there or kept working because they wanted more. And there were about 24 women who came in, many from Canada, many from the local area here around Kentucky, and then I had one come from Maine and one come from Washington. So it was like they all were able to come and merge here in Kentucky. And it was really neat to get such a vast variety of Fit Yummy Mummies there. And they just kept coming up to me going, wow, I thought that I knew it all, or I thought that I was, I thought, why should I come to this? I'm already at a good place, but you have wowed me. You have given me something to think about, to refine, to reflect upon, to motivate me to make this even more of a positive change in my life. And plus, the whole fact that they all got to meet each other, because these were women who have formed these relationships online, and they had never met face to face. But when they did, there were hugs, there were tears, there were screams, there were joys, joys of laughter. When I went to go check in at the Brown Hotel, a lady had walked up and she was checking too, and she looked at me and she was like, Holly? And I was like, yeah. And she screamed, you are real. And she gave me the biggest hug. So that, oh my gosh, it just warmed my heart and just gave me goosebumps again.
Wow.
But it's also that social, the support factor of, hey, these are my friends. This is my Fit Yummy Mummy family. So just all wrapped up in one. I just can't say enough about it, and I cannot wait for the next one.
Oh, that's great, because it sounds like it was obvious success. The one thing that is tough about it, though, is events like this are notoriously difficult to get people to come to. I mean, people, like you said, are coming from Maine, Canada, Washington, all over the place. What are you doing? Like, how did you get them, to believe and trust in you, to come and say, hey, this is going to be good for you, and get them to come in the door?
Well, I think that's something that's been ongoing, because a lot of women were just, like, if I were to travel, they're like, oh, you're going to be in Boston, can I meet you?
Right.
And, it's just, when you're on family vacation, you just can't meet everybody.
Right.
So it's just that opportunity to say, wow, I get to spend some time with you, because that relationship has already been formed. Mm-hmm. Other than that, it's a matter of mapping out the details and explaining why we are doing this. What is this being held? Or why is this being held, and how is it going to help you? And then putting it at a price point that allows them to be able to afford to come, because traveling in itself is expensive.
Exactly. Yeah.
And because we did have that community, what happened was in the forums, the ladies were like, hey, I booked a room, who wants to share, who wants a roommate, who wants to help save money, who's driving in, I'll ride with you. They also helped to be able to say, you know what, this is doable. I can fly to here and then drive here, or vice versa, because I had a couple ladies from Canada who ended up flying in and then driving down the rest of the way, because they had other friends that lived up north. So it was the relationships that had already been formed that made the biggest difference in knowing that we could all come and share in this experience. Once I had a couple sign up, they were urging everybody else to sign up. And if somebody was like, well, I'm not sure, then that Fit Yummy Mummy was like, you got to do this. I'm going to be there. This is exciting for this, and this reason. So that kind of encouragement and support to get enrolled and make it, put it on the calendar came from the pressure of the own Fit Yummy Mummies.
Right. Now, tell me about organizing an event. You have so much going on. That's kind of the theme of this, what is it like to organize an event, and like when did you start planning for it and getting everything going?
It was an idea last year, and it kind of sat on the back burner, knowing that it was going to happen until, let's see, so that was June. What happened in May? Something happened in May. It seemed like after one big project was done, it was like I was able to dive headfirst into the summit.
Right.
And that's when I had reached out, maybe it was a month before that, maybe about 2 months before that, I had reached out to the people who I wanted to help contribute and said, hey, I'd love for you to be a part of this. Can you be here? And a few of them are personal friends of mine. Pamela McElry came in for the kettlebell workshop. Mm-hmm. Kara Moore is a friend of mine. So if I didn't know these people, I sure wouldn't have waited a month or two prior to the event to ask. It would have allowed me 6 months, because you got to account for their own busy schedules. And then it was a matter of shooting out emails to make sure that I had the resources available. I had to contact Dave, the band man, and make sure that we had bands ordered and that there were bands available for everybody to take part in that workshop. Dave Randolph, who runs the kettlebell workshops here in Louisville, I had to ask him if he could bring kettlebells in for the kettlebell workshop that Pamela was teaching. So it's a matter of making that list of what types of equipment are we going to need, what type of space, the time allotted for each of these. And Patrick and Nick hold summits several times a year at this very hotel. So they already had a system in place. So I was able to turn to them and say, what do I need to do? Am I missing something? So once again, that accountability of, can you look over this? This is my planned schedule of events. Am I forgetting something, or is there something more that I have to add to this? So I had others reviewing this and helping to set things up as well. It's not something I would ever try to do by myself. I would actually make sure that I have as many people involved and willing to help as possible.
More difficult to organize something like this than it is to, do your products and everything else?
Yeah, because there's a lot of moving parts. Okay. But after I had outlined it all, and like I said, I felt like 2 days wasn't enough. Yeah. Everything just worked out perfectly. I didn't have, people who had said, yes, I'll come and teach this or speak about this. I didn't have anybody backing out, canceling. And I think that also lends to the fact that I know these people, have a relationship with these fitness professionals as well. Absolutely. It's not just some random person. They actually have an interest in what I am doing and what I am offering. So they actually care about that and want to be able to help. So I think that makes a big difference as well.
Okay, and I want to jump into the last section here because we're doing the series on women in the industry who are doing great things for business and the industry. As a woman, would you say there are any challenges that you had to face that maybe you wouldn't have had to face if you were a guy?
Oh, the man-woman thing.
It's hard to say because obviously, you haven't been in the guy's shoes, but I'm trying to see what you would think about.
I would say the biggest part with that, just speaking personally as a mother, that men, when they're able to sit down and work, they don't have the distractions that a working mother has. And even if the kids are busy doing something else, my mind is still, I sure hope that Tyler and Alexander are okay. Yeah. It's not just, shut it out. And that's just, not that men don't think about their kids 24/7. Yeah. I think that we get distracted easily. And when there's something that is needed, like if somebody started screaming back there and both of us were in the house, they would come to me. So I think from that aspect of it, that time management aspect of it, it's more challenging for working moms to be able to get everything completed. And that's not to say anything bad about men and the work that they have to do. God forbid Patrick would watch this and he would say, let me tell you something. So it does. It goes back to me not multitasking, right, and creating my list of to-dos and prioritizing what can I focus on in this block of time, and delegating. It's okay to ask for help, because I think that too often as women, asking for help is seen as a sign of weakness, when we need to get over that. If somebody else can help us with these smaller tasks, like I mentioned before, that opens up the opportunity for you to focus on what you're really, really good at. It's too easy to make excuses and find blame and be the victim, and you can't get anything done, you don't have childcare, and blah, blah, blah. Right. Or you can put all of that aside, get the help that you need, and take action and get those things done.
Okay. Touched on it a little bit before earlier in the interview, but the demographic for weight loss and getting back into shape is generally women. So do you think as a woman in the industry helping other women that you have an advantage over men?
I think that we do, and I think that often we don't take ourselves up on that opportunity either, for the reasons I just explained. But you can have the best fat-burning program. Craig Ballantyne has awesome fat-burning programs, but he cannot relate to a woman who just had a baby, to her ups and downs and the things that she's struggling with. Because when it comes down to results, it doesn't matter how awesome that program is if you're not going to be consistent with it and stick to it. And that comes with that extra layer of support, and a man cannot provide that for a woman. Yes, he can set up resources for her, but he can't speak from the heart to say, you know what, I know what you mean. I know what it feels like to wake up at 3 a.m. with a screaming baby and then feel like you're going to pull your hair out because you have this, and this that you're worried about. and then the effect that has on your body the next morning when you're trying to get that workout in. Yes, efforts can be made, but that's when you can really dive in and build that relationship with those female clients. The male clients that are out there who have awesome fitness programs don't have to let that be a barrier, though, because they can pull in the female experts to say, you know what, I have this awesome program for you to follow, and if you need support, then turn to this person. It's okay to not be an expert in every single area, and that's what I teach in Club FYM. Somebody was amazed that I was sharing a cookbook written by another female fit pro that was vegan-based. And she's like, wow, it's so great that you share other resources from other fitness professionals. I'm like, yeah, because I'm not a vegetarian nor a vegan, and I'm not about to tell you about it. Right. It's okay to bring those in. But because they have the opportunity to know that, you know what, when Holly's telling me to get over my excuses and make the time and make this a priority, she's saying it from her heart because she's been through that, versus a man who might just be saying, get over it, can be taken more harshly. And I've heard that from women who come from different online communities, even where support is offered, that the same feel is just not there.
Interesting. What would you like to see more of for women in the industry?
Oh, geez. For clients or fit pros or?
Fitness pros, yeah.
Well, of the fitness events that take place, I would like to see more opportunities for females who are successful in the industry getting up and sharing their stories. Mm-hmm. Yes, I think it's wonderful to be able to learn from everyone, but I feel like a lot of the events that I take part in, I'm always seeing a man standing at the front of the room saying, do it like this. When it would really be nice to see some more successful female fitness professionals being involved and invited to and asked to present at these types of events so we can learn from them as well, versus them just being in the audience and maybe recognized by a male who's standing up at the front, you know, trying to be polite and acknowledging that. But let's get up and let's hear her story and hear what she's doing that makes a difference.
Very cool. Now, the last question on this is a little bit of a tougher question, but what do you think needs to change in the industry for women to gain more recognition for what they're doing?
Oh my gosh, that is a hard one. Maybe female fit pros supporting each other, I think would be nice. Because we always see like the big affiliates who are all men. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there's a woman in there, but they all support and promote each other. When it comes to female resources, maybe having that same type of camaraderie, instead of feeling like she's doing that, well, I can do that. You know, we have this cattiness when it's like, really, let's find out what we have in common and how we can complement each other. That's why I'm always like looking for female fit pros who are good at speaking about hormonal imbalance, mm-hmm. or stress management, because there's a lot of male-based resources out there, but I'm like, it's like I have to really dig to find other females who are experts in that area. It's like, let's find each other and come out and be there to support each other and help make the services and the resources that we provide more well-rounded. So it is not just so, tunnel vision based and it's only me, that we actually can support each other and our businesses in that aspect.
Very cool. A lot of great points in there. Very interesting and eye-opening getting that feedback from you on that. So we're going to wrap up now. You've given a ton of great information. Just the last couple questions for you. I just want to know, maybe a tougher one to answer again, but what have been some of like your biggest mistakes or maybe your biggest failures been in this whole process?
Failures? I don't think I like the word failures, just because, and this always sticks to me because Tyler actually made a YouTube video of this.
That's why I'm asking you this question, because that's a great video.
Oh, okay, yeah, look that up. Because to fail means that you fall and you don't get back up. You get back up, you just keep trying, you practice, and you get better. And it came out of his sweet little mouth, his mm-hmm. sweet voice, and that's just something that echoes through me. So failure is not a word that we use in this house, and it's not something that we acknowledge. It's a matter of, okay, so that didn't work. Why? Let's learn from that and implement some different strategies or approaches. As far as what I am doing, biggest mistakes, initially I'll tell you right away, is a lack of delegating, a lack of the inability to ask for help. And those were the times when you're like, did you ever feel like, the sky, the world was, or the sky was falling, or you felt like you couldn't fall? Those were the days when it did feel like that, and I would have I would have these breakdowns because I would cry and I'd be like, I can't do all of this. And Patrick's like, just ask for help. What can I do to help you? But I couldn't tell him because it would take too much work to figure it all out.
Right.
And now I'm like, okay, stop, take a breath, write down what needs to be done, circle the 2 or 3 things that you can do, and then the rest, find somebody else who can do it. Letting go was the biggest step that I could take to help grow my business. And it was a matter of me, you have to have somebody that is competent to do it, but putting that trust into someone. You know what, sometimes, we've been through quite a few videographers, and now we have one that we absolutely love and adore, and he will always be a part of our family. We love Paul. But initially, that stuff didn't work, and it was like, okay, so we tried to delegate this to a high school kid to videotape it. It didn't work. Let's not hire high school kids. Let's make sure they actually have a college degree. So, finding somebody who's competent, somebody you can put your trust in, and if it doesn't work, find somebody else who can do it. And at this point, when you get online, there's Craigslist, there are those, you put your job thing in there and say people bid on it to be able to take part and do it. Your star clients, your best clients. Not a day goes by. Well, I shouldn't say not a day. Not a week or so goes by that a Fit Yummy Mommy doesn't reach out and ask me of how can I help you? Hey, I'm really good at doing this, this, and this online. I used to be a graphic artist. Do you want me to help you create this? So turning to your own clients and what are they good at? Could they help you? That was one of the biggest things too, because I have a great support staff that I actually trust and love because they know me and they know my business inside and out. So they're going to be giving 100%. So I would say that was the biggest step forward and one of the biggest mistakes that I made initially. You can't do it all yourself. And that's you do find the blame and excuses and have the meltdowns. You got to ask for help. You got to delegate.
Well, the time has been awesome. You shared some great tips, some great pointers. I know a lot of people are going to get benefit out of this. So people, if they want to know more about you, where can they go to check out your products or what you're doing so they can kind of just keep tabs?
Good question. I would say the best place to go is my blog just because it's a compilation of everything. And that's at getfitandyummy.com. My Fit Yummy Mommy website is fityummymummy.com. That's just the sales page with the ebook. Clubfym.com, and FYM stands for Fit Yummy Mommy. There's a lot of things that you can kind of view to get an idea of what the community is about, but to dive any deeper into the content or get in the forums, you have to join, which I've had some female fit pros do in the past because they want to see what this is all about. They want to be able to offer something like that as well.
Right.
Let's see, anything else? I think that those are the 2 or 3 main websites. And then, of course, if there's questions, Holly@fityummymummy.com is my support email.
Awesome. Well, Holly, appreciate all the time and definitely some great information. I wish you the best of luck with everything in the future.
Thank you so much. I'm glad that I could share.